welcome to this new story. So today I'm in Innsbruck, actually not right now, because right now I'm in Trento, but the story of today takes place in Innsbruck. And I'll be following a project from the university, which is called To Feed or Not to Feed Wild Birds. Feeding birds is a common practice, especially in cities and town, because we want to try to help them find food. But is this always beneficial? Behind this simple act lies a complex ecological question, because it could change how they gather, how they compete for nesting sites, and also have an impact on the health and development of their chicks. So to investigate these effects, the researchers have turned around 40 urban gardens in Innsbruck and its surroundings in a large outdoor experiment. And some gardens provide food and some don't. And by monitoring the next boxes, the team aim is to try to follow and understand if bird feeding affects the birds during one of the most critical stages of their lives, which is the breeding season. So in this video, we'll follow the researcher during one of their monitoring day. We will see what they do, how they monitor the chicks and the birds, and we will try to see if we can answer this important question. So if we're ready now, we can go back to Innsbruck and see what happened. Who are you and what do you do in your life?
So I'm Marion Chatelain. I'm a researcher in urban ecology, and I try to understand how urban environments impact animals, wild animals. And currently, I'm mostly interested in how bird feeding impacts birds.
What's this project about and what's its purpose?
So the goal is really now to understand the impact of bird feeding on the reproduction of the bird. So on the how it improves or decreases the quality of the habitat during the breeding season. And we do this because bird feeding became extremely popular. While bird feeding was mainly during the winter before, now people start feeding also during the breeding season, and it can have an impact on nestlings, how they grow, and so on.
And now it was time to check another nest where there was one chick at day 15. Here the researchers are preparing all the things that they will need, and unfortunately this year, due to the hot and dry weather, a lot of chicks died, and that's also why here we found only one of them. How does the project work more in a practical way?
So to test how bird feeding impact the reproduction of the birds, we have 40 gardens in Innsbruck and in the surroundings, and all the gardens are equipped with nest boxes, especially one nest box that is for the great tit, that is one species that really like bird feeders, so that goes to bird feeder to eat. And another nest box that is for the black redstart, which is a species that doesn't go to bird feeders. And then half of the gardens have a feeder and the other half doesn't have a feeder. So the goal is really to compare then those two treatments with feeder, without feeder, and how it impacts the growth of the chicks, if they have parasites and pathogens, their stress level, and also their survival. So in practice, so we are several people in the team, and there are actually several master students and bachelor students working in the project, and we visit the nest regularly at the beginning of the breeding season to see if there are eggs, and once there are eggs, if the female is incubating them, and once the female incubates, we can predict when the eggs gonna hatch. And at this point then we will measure the nestlings when they are 8 days old and 15 days old. So then we can measure the growth of the chicks and monitor their health. And after 25 days, the nestlings are supposed to be big enough to fly. So we check the nest boxes a last time to see if the nestlings flew away. So are not anymore in the nest box, so if they survived basically. First thing we do when we arrive is actually to mark the chicks. When they are 8 days old, we mark them by cutting one nail, one specific nail. So then there is a code. And when we come back when they are 15 days old, they are big enough to put them a ring. Those are rings for the gray tit, and we have slightly smaller rings for the blue tit and the black redstarts. And we apply the ring using this. Then we take the mass. So we just put the chick in this little tube. By doing this at day 8 and day 15, we can measure the growth of the chicks. We also inspect the chick for, I don't know, 30 seconds, something like this, to see if it has any ectoparasites. So it's lice, it's blowfly larvae that feed from the blood of the chicks. But actually in this project at the moment there are not many ectoparasites. The first ones were found yesterday in 2 nests. And then we take a dropping, so a feces. So we take a tube and we need to actively collect the dropping, and to do that we exert a small pressure on the abdomen of the chick, but not like a strong one, and basically they will produce the dropping quite easily that we transfer in a tube. And the last thing we do is that we collect a small blood sample that we preserve in ethanol, and to do that we just puncture like the wing vein with a needle, and then it creates a small drop of blood that we collect with a capillary and that we put inside this tube. And then this is it. So it's actually quite fast. I would say that the procedure lasts, what, I don't know, max 5 minutes per chick.
And after all the measurements, it was time to put the chick back into its nest and wait for the parents to come back. So this is what the researchers do during one of their monitoring day. If you want to keep being updated about the project, I will leave all the infos in the description of the video. I hope you like these stories and see you in the next one. Bye!